Kia ora, welcome. Today we'll be doing a little bit of painting here on Crafter Artosaurus, and I'm going to use my pure pigment set from Mission Gold. I'm showing you the container because these paints are wonderful for watercolorist. So they're all one pigment. Most of them have a light fast setting of, gosh, I think it's 5. There's only a few with 3, which is still pretty good. But I do like the fact that they have a light fast setting of 5. So I thought I would show you what the pack looks like. But from there, I've taken them from their tubes, and I of course put them into one of my portable little painters. And the main reason I'm using Mission Gold today is because of this black right here. And I want that separation within the black. So I've already drawn a quick picture, and I do stress it is very, very quick. Again, it's a little bird picture, and I'm thinking of just, you know, a new bird I've added here. It's a little owl, and as we paint, the main focus for this painting is going to be the sky. So I want the Northern Lights. So who do I know who likes owls and has been to the Northern Lights recently? Can I think of anyone a little bit kooky? Maybe. So I've got my my brush that I use for when I really want to get the paper incredibly wet. So this is my Super Soaker brush, and I love my Super Soaker brush. Oh, the paper I'm using is Academy watercolor paper. It's 100% cotton, and I think it's 300, yes, 300 thick. But because it has been glued down on all sides, and there's a little opening here, it means I can really, really wet this paper and get it lovely and wet, because I really wanted to try to do the Northern Lights. I've never seen them other than in photos, but I'd really, really like to try it. So of course I've got my 2 waters beside me, my wet and my clean, and I am just going to wet this paper so much. And it doesn't bother me if this paint runs down below, because they're on little ski things here. Poor old Tom, look at him, he's pulling everyone along. Oh, Annie, get out and help your son, for goodness sake. Sorry. I had a lot of fun drawing this. So yeah, I'm really, really giving it a good wetting. I want a lot of water, and because I'm using so much water on the paper, that's why I've gone to my Mission Gold one pigment paint. The Mission Gold one pigment paint has beautiful, beautiful bright colors to it, and with me using so much water, and it's diluting the watercolors so much that in the end it's just going to affect how it will look. So I've gone, it's really, really wet. This is also a hot press paper, so that's why my granulating paint, I want that Mars black to be really lovely and really granulating. Yeah, it will sort everything out. I'm also trying not to say and so I'm saying so much today, I'm almost killing myself laughing. So I will truly try to not say as many ums. Having said that, there's another one. Okay, so my paper is lovely and soaked, and I can see, I'm looking at it from different angles so I can see if I've missed anything, and I haven't. So for me, for me, the Southern Lights have this lovely kind of greenness to them from what I saw of Tori's pictures that she did online, and it kind of had this sweeping S to it. So I think I'm going to go from the top, and I'm just going to see how it goes. I've never done this before, so you're learning at the same time I'm learning, so you'll actually see how I learn as well. Oh, you poor people. So there we go. Need loads and loads more colour on my brush. There, that's better. So a nice swirl of green, and I'm going to take it right up to the owl's ear here, or what I figure is the owl's ear. And I'm happy with that. I'm cleaning my brush in the water, the dirty water, but I've still got a very wet brush. I haven't actually got out a tissue yet either. I don't know if I will use one because I really want and because this is a different set of paints, it's not going to do the whole whoosh that I normally get. I'm going straight into my lovely yellow here, and I'm going to put that beside what I've just done. Beside and under what I've just done. So I'm trying to remember what I saw in Tori's photos that she did online. And I know there was no Potter's Pink, which is a bit devastating. But never mind, you can't have everything now, can you? Straight into the water again, and I'm cleaning off. And from memory, I'm saying all the time. There was a red. But I guess I should go with the bright red because, yeah, I'm going to go with this bright red. So that should be that one there. Now, because the Mission Gold is one pigment, it's so bright. And also, the Mission Gold I love to mix. So you can really mix this paint, and you hardly ever get a brownness to it. So usually if I mix a lot of different colours, and you can do colours from a different spectrum colour wheel, and that won't matter too much. Now I'm quite happy with how that looks, but to really get it to do what I want it to do, I'm just going to have to stand up, grab a tissue, now I need to put it on a 45-degree angle for my paint to move. I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to tip it towards me, which to me makes a lot of sense because I want it to kind of meld into each other before it dries out too much. So if I tip it up, and we can see the red moving, see how it's making all those lovely lines. I don't want this bottom bit to move, but that's okay. I'm going to tip it the other way. But first of all, I'm going to grab my tissue and just grab a little bit of that paint because there's so much there. And there's heaps down here. I'm going to go back the other way, take it to the side, back to the side, and I'm just tipping it forward, backward. I'm not that happy with my green in the middle here. I'm really not happy with that. So while I'm still standing, I've got my brush and I'm going straight back into that bluey green that I like. I think the color's totally different to this. So what I'm going to do is, while it's still wet, I'm going to go into my blue and put a little bit of that in there as well. And that should hopefully, yep, now I'm going to get a lovely green next door to that yellow, which is what I'm also looking for. So I've now put loads and loads of that on my brush. Gosh, there's heaps of it on there, loads and loads of paint. Now I'm going to tip it again. And I also want it to come a bit on the snow, so I'm tipping it this way. Hopefully encourage it to come down a bit and up and across. I'm sorry, I don't know how this is on the camera. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my Mars Black, which is what I was waiting for. I'll just bring my chair up again. Oh, actually, you know, I'm going to stay standing for this, It just seems more natural to me to be standing for this painting. I most probably should have been at my tilted desk. And I'm going straight into my Mars Black. I'm testing it out because I had to get more of this paint. Yeah, that's what I want. It doesn't bother me at the moment that we have got, I'm going over the birds, or that I've got lines in this paint. That does not bother me at all. And it's not quite dark enough, so I know I'm going to have to go a few more times. But I can already see it doing what I want it to do. It's got that wonderful feel to it that I'm looking for. That granulation's already happening. I'm tipping it and tipping it again while it's on an angle. Gosh, I think it's like 45 degrees. It could be a little bit more, but I think it's 45. I'm getting a smaller brush, wetting it, going into my lovely bright yellow, and I'm going to throw that down. And I want it to be really sloppy and wet, the paint, so it will move. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm going back into the blue. I'm going to put that at the top of that. And I also want some of that blue at the very top here. I'm not that happy with this yellow over here, so I'm just going to really wet, lovely wet, loads of paint on my brush, loads of water on my, loads of paint and water on my brush. And now I'm going to tip it back. That's more like it. Tipping it to the side, sorry, I'm just doing this what I can see. I'm learning with you, so I'm not really sure where I'm going. I'm not that happy with over here. Can you see how red it is? And I'm thinking it needs a little bit of this blue over here as well. So because the brush is so wet, I've got loads and loads of water. I'm cleaning it all the time, going into my fresh water, leaving loads of water on there. And when I'm going into my paint, I'm picking up quite a bit. And that's what I'm wanting. I want that greenness down here, I'm thinking. I'm going to tip it back, tip it forward, tip it to the side. And I'm just moving that paint around so I get a swirliness to it. And I'm mainly focusing in over on this side at the moment. And I'm going to fix up this bit over here because I'm not happy with that either. What I had on my brush was a green. And I'm thinking it needs a little bit of purple. I really think this needs purple in there. And I'm not seeing it mix into a purple. It could be because it's one pigment, so it's not doing that. But it also is the colours I'm using. So I want a little bit of purple down here. Purple up here. I'm going for a dark purple, blue. And wherever the black is, I'm putting a little line of purple. I don't know why I'm doing that. It just, to me, it feels more natural. It could be wrong. It could be what I didn't see in Tori's photos. I'm also not that happy with how it's moving. So now I'm thinking I need a water spray brush or a sprayer of some sort, because it's still looking too liney for me. So I've got out my big water spray bottle, and I'm going to hold my picture up at an angle. I'm going to spray it from quite a distance actually, because I only want, there we go, that's what I'm looking for. So what I needed to do was actually spray it. So there we go. That was really, oh, that's fun. Oh my goodness, I'm having so much fun here. I don't know how much fun you are watching, but I am having a ball here. Oh, just a little bit more over here. I just want it to move a little bit more, move down. Oh, yes. that is what I'm looking for. I'm so happy, absolutely thrilled. Oh, my cover's got a bit wet, but that doesn't bother me at all. I'm going in my cat's tongue brush straight into wet water, the dirty water, going into the nice clean water, picking up a lot of my Mars Black on the end of my brush. You won't be able to see it, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to Mars Black straight into this corner here, so it's a lot darker, but I still want that granulation, so I'm trying not to. I find that I don't get as much granulation if I make definite strokes with a brush. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But if I was doing my painting strokes rather than my dabbing strokes, it doesn't seem to do what I want it to. And I really want that lovely thickness coming through. And because it's a cat's tongue, I can go, because the point on this is amazing, I can do a lot of point work, and I can also use the fullness of the brush, so I can still get that going. I'm still not that happy with this bit over here. It could just be me, and it's going to change colour once it dries anyway. It's just part of how this process is when you're using really wet paper and such flowing paints. I know it's not going to be as bright as this, but I want it to go back, I want it to come forward, I want to spray so I get the black moving. Now I've come down onto my picture, and that isn't bothering me too much at all, because I know that that's snow, and snow would reflect what's up above. It's not the end of the world, and I'm going to leave it. I think if I play much longer, I'm going to ruin it. I could be wrong. I could be making a masterpiece and not knowing it, but I'm fairly certain that if I carry on playing, I will ruin it. Where there's a lot of water, I'm just picking it up, gently dabbing this tissue into it, just picking it up gently, not picking up all of it, because I quite like this, and I'm hoping I can keep it, because it will be white. Before I do anything else, the next bit that I will be doing is putting the stars in the sky. It's a lovely clear night. There are stars in the sky. Tom is pulling the sleigh, which Annie is relaxing in, with Tori with all the fabric. And they're off on a world trip somewhere, and I do believe it's down under. Who could they be going to see? Yes, I have a plan with these paintings. I am really just playing and being silly and having fun, which I am thoroughly enjoying. Now, as you can see, I'm also, by doing this with my tissue, the paint that's sitting on top that hasn't quite soaked through to the bottom, I'm able to pull that off a little bit. So see how I'm losing this kind of yellow green here with the blue over the top? If I just go in with a nice clear edge, very gently dabbing, and I can take off a little bit of that blue, and the yellow's coming through just a little bit better. And to me, that looks nice. This is going to take a while to dry, because as you can see, I've really soaked the paper. That's why I'm so happy it's glued and it's held down. Even when I use tape, I find that the tape will let water through, and it will buckle a little bit. You can soak your cotton paper in a bathtub for a while, stretch it, tape it down, let it dry so that the paper shrinks back into itself, and then wet it, paint it. But I still find that when I've done that the paper still is inclined to buckle, and you get these little grooves here and there. And I've noticed with these, especially the Academy paper, it's not as inclined to go into grooves. So I am actually quite happy. It's a little bit funky. I've never done this before, but that's okay. That's what painting is about, trying new things, learning. And what I'd really like to do is, I think even though I'm using the Mars Black and I really want that granulation, I would still like it darker. So I'm going in now and I'm picking up some Mars Black and I'm just going to mix it a little bit on my plate. And because it's fresh from the tube, it's quite a wet paint. And I'm just going in. It's not as watery now, it's thicker. But because the paper's so watery, it's still, even though I'm using this because I didn't want a lot of movement this time, ergo I've gone straight to my one pigments. If I don't want any movement at all when I put my colours down, that's where I go to. I go straight away to my one pigments. And as I'm doing little dots here and there with it, and I'm quite liking that. I don't know what it'll look like, if it will, what's the word, if it will still look like the lights that happen down up there in the north. We do have southern lights here, and I have gone to look at them. But the nights that I've been out, and I'm sure some of you are going to laugh at this, it was absolutely pouring down with rain and I couldn't see a jolly thing. But still I went because I really, really wanted to see them. And I thought, well, maybe there was going to be a break in the cloud, and hope of hope, I would see the southern lights. And no, that never happened. Never happened. And all the time I went to have a look. And they'll be there again this year, and I'm fairly certain it'll be a time when it will be absolutely pouring down with rain here on the coast, and they'll say, oh, the place to see it is on the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand, and I'll go, oh, I must go and look for them because we're the place to be, and it'll be absolutely hovering it down with rain again. Oh my goodness, it's so funny. Now I'm encouraging the paint to split a bit over here. I'm liking that effect, and I've done it before on other paintings and I really do like it. I've got my reds, I've got my yellows, I've got my greens, I've got my blues, I've got a little bit of green. I can still see the yellow here, and I've got some stuff coming down onto what I class as snow. And for now I've got 2 gaps there. So I'm going to pick up my brush, and I'm actually checking to see if it's clean by the middle of my palm. Look at that, it's shocking. I do this quite a bit, but it's still not clean, the brush. So I'm going all the way down into my big, picking it up. Yep, now it's nice and clean. And I'm worried about here. Oh, I see, look. So if I do little dots, it's actually a teeny weeny little bit of white paint, of gouache. So I do have gouache here. Oh, look at what my gouache has done. It's cracked and it's gone into other colours. Oh, there's a thought. Put your gouache not on the top but on the bottom one, because it won't matter as much. I haven't got any Potter's Pink at all in here, and I do love that colour. But I don't think, from what I remember seeing of Tori's painting, there was anything that had, not painting, pictures that she took when she was on her cruise, and they got all these wonderful pictures of the Northern Lights, that there is any way. I'm just moving it, I'm putting it on the L, and I'll pick that up. Oh, I might be able to bring it all the way. Oh, there you go, I finally got it. So I'll have to clean the paints a bit. That's okay. And there you go, the Northern Lights of sorts. It's not as swooshy, it's kind of like an S in the air, isn't it? And I haven't got that. But then I'm thinking, oh, this is the beginning of the S, and it goes up and over, it goes off the page. I don't know. I'm liking it. I can see stars in the sky, so I'm going to leave it at that. I am back, and as you can see, everything is dry. It's actually the next day, so I really left it to dry quite well, and I'm thrilled with my first time of the Northern Lights. I'm going to grab a piece of paper, and I'm just putting it on my horizon line here, and I know my horizon isn't straight, but you know, it doesn't bother me. I'm going to grab a fan brush, and this is an old fan brush. You can see how it's kind of splitting at the ends and bits of hair are falling out of it, but I find this is best for stars in the sky, so that's what I'm using. I'm going to wet it with my clean water. I'm going straight into some white gouache, and the gouache is like, it's so old. Oh my goodness, it's so dry, but that's okay. I'm doing a mixture over here. I might just bring it over so you can see. So see how I'm kind of getting it sloppy on my brush, so it's really sloppy. Quite a lot of gouache. I'm going to pick up any of my other brushes, and from there I'm just going to tap down, and there's my stars in the sky. Same on this side. I don't know where it's going to land, it doesn't bother me, and I really want some more just down in here, so I'm just going back to that really sloppy mix, taking a bit off my brush and just trying to get it to come down here. It's not going quite where I want it to, so I'm going to use my finger, and I'm going to, gosh, it's been a while since I've done this. There we go. And even though I get more on my hand than on the paper, I'm quite happy. Grabbing a smaller brush. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. And that's the night sky all done. So I need to let that dry, and it won't take very long. It's very hot here today. So I'll go and play in my garden for a bit, or hang out some washing, or do something, and when I come back, that'll be nice and dry. I've finished my painting, as you can see. I did a very light inking first, and then I've gone in with my paints. And because I've used the paint so thickly, and also with a little bit of gouache, it's covered up most of my ink work. So I'm going to have to go in again and redo this, which doesn't bother me at all. I'll have a few more slides showing you the progress. I just thought I'd explain how I did the ground, which was I put a very light wash of gouache down, and then I've just thrown in a little bit, it's still drying as you can see, just little bits and pieces of colour from the sky. This had really, I just love this, so I've left that. It's just got a very light wash over every so often, just so you can get an idea of snow, and that's it. And I'll most probably go over the top of this again with another light wash, but for now I'm ready to actually get in and start my inking. I've got my Annie bird to finish, my tom bird to finish, and with those last time I used the tombows, and I absolutely love these. The only problem is, because they are water based, you have to use them last. If you get Copic multi-liners, however, these are waterproof and also Copic proof, alcohol pen proof. You can get these coloured ones, and they're really, really cool. I've only got a few of these. I need to get more. I'm now going to also go in with my gold and my silver and my white, and this is my Signa pens, and I use these all the time on all my paintings. I just like the little bit of bling that it brings to it. So I'll be doodling on the birds. That sounded a bit rude. I'll be I'll be inking on the birds. That's a bit better. And also with these, I will fix up any of the hair feathers that I like, because these are lovely and bright and they go over the paint beautifully. See how I'm mixing it, and the gouache is going lovely. And because it's the plate and everything, and this blob of gouache will sit here for ages until it's all gone. So I'm not going to waste that. And I'm just going to go very lightly over the top. That's all I want, is just a light, cleaning my brush, just a light wash of gouache, and it'll tone down the watercolors. I'm still mixing it because I just want it a little bit thicker in these parts. I'm pulling more off, going in, and it doesn't bother me that it's moving and going into other places. I'm going to have to fix up in here anyway, so we might as well just get it so that it looks more like a reflection in the snow. And I might come over here and just do this as well. Just very light. And I'll let this dry, go and have some lunch and relax. Hi, I'm back, and as you can see, the painting is finished, and I'm absolutely thrilled with my sky. First time, it's wonderful. I'm so happy. So here they are, Tom pulling Annie with Tori on the back, and they're off on their great adventure down under. They've got the map and the little red mark telling them where they're going, so it looks like they've had lots of fun. And I hope you had fun today watching me create this. And if you did, a thumbs up would be wonderful. Have a little comment and I will answer you. And yeah, until next time, most probably next weekend. I seem to be doing these paintings on the weekend. So I'll see you next weekend with another painting. This is Crafter Artosaurus signing off. Bye everyone.